Joe Biden has defeated Donald Trump, winning the election and becoming the president-elect. But as of recording this, networks continue to drag their feet and not announce it. I'm going to tell you why. So first up, let me show you why Joe Biden has won, why I know he has won. Decision Desk HQ. This is a reputable organization. Many places, including Vox, use them. You see here, the Vox headline, Joe Biden has won. Here's what comes next. This article went out at 8:53 a.m. The race was called by Decision Desk at 8:50 a.m. Eastern Time. They say here, Decision Desk HQ projects that Joe Biden has won Pennsylvania and its 20 electoral college votes for a total of 273. Joe Biden has been elected the 46th president of the United States of America. Let me go through why. So, even though this is really close right now in Pennsylvania, first let me just show you 273. You need 270 to win. Biden at 273, Pennsylvania worth 20 electoral votes. Let me break down and show you, even though how close it is. You see 49.53 to 49.33. You may think, why would they call it with the election so close? That's because all of the ballots coming in for the past few days in Pennsylvania have all favored Joe Biden heavily, up to 90% favoring Joe Biden over Donald Trump. The reason for that being that they are mail-in ballots. Mail-in balloting already heavily favors Democratic voters. More Democratic voters voted by mail than GOP voters did. But on top of that, we're talking about counties like Philadelphia that heavily already lean in Biden's favor. You see here, 81% Philadelphia leaning in Biden's favor. And the votes coming in are actually leaning in Biden's favor by 90%. So we're talking about large counties, cities, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. You have these votes coming in, and they are heavily favoring Joe Biden. This is why the election was called. So, Decision Desk HQ here, I have cable news in the corner of my eye just in case they call the election, because they may be within minutes of calling this as well. But this was called by Decision Desk HQ at 8:50 a.m. That is why the race was called. All the votes coming in now heavily favoring Joe Biden, and he overtook Trump. Understand, on election day, Joe Biden was behind Trump by 11 points in Pennsylvania. Biden closed that gap because of the mail-in balloting and ultimately overtaking Trump, and now he continues to grow his lead in that state. So the reason it came out that way is because of the Republican push to ensure that they did not count the mail-in ballots till the election night. So they did not count those ballots until the polls closed, meaning it took a lot longer for them to actually count these big cities and where the votes were coming in. Compare that to, say, Florida, that were allowed to count the votes before the polls closed. So they were counting the mail-in ballots earlier, meaning that on election night, you had a full count in Florida. So the race there called quickly on election night. If you had the same law that Florida has as applied to Pennsylvania, you would have had the race called on election night in Pennsylvania as well. So even though right now it seems like Biden keeps catching up to Trump, in reality, if they were able to count the ballots the same way Florida did, you would have had Joe Biden with a massive lead on election night and Donald Trump being the one getting closer and closer and closer and closer and ultimately not making it far enough to defeat Joe Biden in Pennsylvania. But because they couldn't count those mail-in ballots until the polls closed, you had it reversed. So all the same-day voting favored Donald Trump. That's why Trump had that big lead on election day, and all the mail-in balloting favoring Joe Biden, catching up to Trump and ultimately surpassing him. Now, let me show you why networks will not call it. Because they're largely relying on the Associated Press. So you see here what it looks like in terms of their map. They have not called Pennsylvania. It's the exact same votes, but they have a whole team of people that is separate from Decision Desk HQ. Their team here at Associated Press deciding not to call the election in Pennsylvania, or not calling the state just yet. Meanwhile, they did call Arizona. Arizona has not been called by Decision Desk. So this is why I think the AP has not yet called Pennsylvania, because I think they jumped the gun, called Arizona too early, because right now you have mail-in balloting coming in that's actually favoring Trump in Arizona, or I should say same-day drop-off. For whatever reason, there was a last-minute push in Arizona from Republican voters to drop the ballot off at the last minute. So that's why ballots coming in right now in Arizona actually favor Donald Trump, but not in big margins, or I should say not in as wide a margin as Biden is winning in Pennsylvania. But still, ballots coming in favoring mostly Trump. That said, from all reporting so far, the votes coming in Arizona is not going to be enough. Trump isn't winning those by enough to be able to surpass Joe Biden in Arizona. So Biden will end up likely winning Arizona. But in reality, the AP called it too early. And Decision Desk made the right decision to not call it yet. And as you see, still not called. So this is what's happening. This is why this race has taken so friggin' long. But right now, the race is over. It's over. Biden has won Pennsylvania. He gonna win Nevada. He's very, very likely going to win Arizona. And he's also very likely to keep his lead here in Georgia. Biden overtook Trump overnight in Georgia. He continues to increase his lead there as well. But he could lose Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. It doesn't matter. Pennsylvania has 20 electoral votes. That's what matters. Biden won that. The race is over.